Welcome back to the My Latin Life podcast. Since 2014, My Latin Life has been your trusted guide to traveling and living in Latin America. My guest today, Michael G. Dash. His book is Chasing the High. He's been living in Tulum, Mexico. He's running retreats in Costa Rica. And you're doing some buying of online businesses too, right?
I've shifted into, I'm going to be opening up a brick and mortar business, a franchise,
Okay.
in Houston, Texas, called Sweat House. They
Sweat
do
House.
cold plunge, infrared sauna, and vitamin C shower. So I'm really excited about that.
All right. Well, so much to cover in this episode. Michael, maybe you could take us from the top, introduce yourself.
Sure. As you said, my name is Michael Dash. I grew up the son of an entrepreneur in New Jersey, in the US. And my dad had me working at an early age. He believed if you're the first one in and the last one out, that's how you're successful in life. And so that's what I adopted. I adopted that thought process. I don't adopt it anymore, but that's what I adopted back then. And I, just busted my ass. Feel free to bleep it out if you need to. And I was like a born salesman, so I was always selling. My dad had me working in his store from 8 years old, and I graduated college. I went to college in Maryland and graduated, and I started selling staffing services in New York City. And the first 10 years of my career, I worked in New York. At the time, I was battling several addictions. I had a gambling addiction of 20 years. I started gambling when I was 10 years old. My uncle introduced me to it. Not my favorite uncle anymore, but at the time he was. And that addiction drove me to have an addiction for money also. So I was working really hard so I'd have a lot of money so I could feed this gambling addiction. And then being in New York City, in my 20s, I was going out and just spending a lot of money, wasting a lot of money on really feeding my ego and trying to be like the big man, so to speak, amongst all his friends. And yeah, so I'll pause there. That's how I would describe like the first 30 years of my life. That's how it was encapsulated in that time frame.
Okay, so you're in Tulum now. Um, do you have any good, before we move on, do you have any good gambling mafia stories? What were you gambling with? New Jersey? You got the New Jersey mob over there. You got some stories.
Yeah, I have some stories. There was like you would have like code names when you call. Well, I gambled on everything first of all, but like sports was predominantly my thing because I could do it every day. Like I can't go to a casino every day, being in where I was in New Jersey. So we would call the bookie up, and you'd have these code names like Red 264, like, and that's how they would identify you, right? And
Mm.
so my tell this story. Uh, my friend, who I was in college with, also involved in gambling and everything, he was shot with a 357 Magnum by his ex girlfriend,
Okay.
and it it went like literally across his chest. He was sitting on the couch. It literally went across his chest and into his bicep and blew out his tricep. Um, and her father was the big bookie in Jersey. So it was an interesting turn of events when I came back from the semester, and he was recovering from being shot basically by the his ex girlfriend, who was the daughter of my bookie.
So you couldn't place any bets anymore for a while.
I mean, I could, but I decided to find another bookie, and then I became a bookie in college. So I was taking bets from all the college kids.
And who protected you?
I had a couple guys I hired. I was down in Maryland at the time, so it wasn't Jersey style. It was Maryland, but still, I was near DC, so DC, Baltimore, so it was still, yeah, not anything I'd advise to my younger self.
Okay, cool. And so I like the rough and tumble East Coast upbringing. Now you've been in Tulum past 4 years. Quite a quite a move.
Yeah,
What?
actually, after I hit 30, I went to Utah, so Salt Lake City, Utah, and I started a recruiting and staffing business. And I had that business for 13 years. And then about 6 years in, we were really doing well. We built it up to 5.5 million in revenue a year. And I had a business partner. And after 5 years, 6 years, I can't remember exactly, we got into a legal battle. Like I bought her out, and then I felt violated our terms of agreement, and we ended up in a lawsuit. That lawsuit lasted 6 years, and I
Man.
spent $1 million on that lawsuit over 6 years. It was everything I had saved, and basically everything the company was making that I poured into that lawsuit. So then my transformation started happening. I started going, I went to a retreat in 2016, and that changed my life. It changed the trajectory of my life. It was in Bali. I just really wanted to go to Bali, and I ended up at this retreat. I didn't really even know what I was signing up for, and it was a personal development retreat. And it kind of gave me a new perspective on what would fulfill me in my life, because at that time I had built a life that from the outside it looked like I had everything, but if you were in the inside of my life, it was utter chaos, and I was completely miserable, depressed, addicted, and not living. Like I wasn't living. I wasn't living at all. So that retreat led to another retreat, another retreat. I kept going to retreats, and then I released my book, Chasing the High, in like 2017, 18, right around that time. I moved, and after the retreat, I sold my business. Excuse me. After the lawsuit, I sold my business, paid off all my legal bills, and moved to LA for 2 years. And that
Mhm.
was a brief stop before COVID hit, and then I landed here in Tulum.
And how you liking it?
I love Tulum. I mean, it's a portal. It's like almost not real, to be honest with you. Like, not that I wouldn't be honest with you. I hate that saying, but I digress. It is a portal of just celebration, prayer, what else? Health, wellness. A lot of nomads here, healing, a lot of healing that happens here. A lot of people come here to heal. A lot of music. Like right now, it's busy season here, so for the next month, it's just an absolute madhouse, and every major
Hmm.
DJ in the world comes to Tulum to play during this time.
Yeah, what do they call it again? January festival season?
Yeah, festival season. Yeah, there's a big Zamna festival that kind of takes over the whole place. I mean, some of these shows have 30, 40,000 people. It's crazy.
And so I guess you kind of see Tulum. Are you spending 12 months a year there, or you've kind of seen it in every season because the summer's hot?
I've seen it in every season. No, the summer is scorching. Yeah. It's not that comfortable being here in the summer. But I've seen every season, and yeah, I'm about to venture into this new project in Houston, Texas. So my plan is to be there 3 weeks working, and then come back here once a week, every month. So it'll be 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. We're kind of putting this together, me and my business partner, because I just turned 50, so I have a lot of lessons, life lessons underneath me. I've ran businesses, I've had addictions, I've had lawsuits, I've had the whole gamut of things. And my level of consciousness is in a different place now. I teach at the retreat, at my retreats, the Live Life Activated retreats. I teach about everything I've been through to entrepreneurs and how to align our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual practice with our vision and mission in our personal lives, in our professional lives, and in our family lives. So with that, I practice this, and conscious leadership is super important. And not burning yourself out. It's so easy to burn yourself out these days and get consumed in all the things. And burnout just doesn't happen in business. Burnout can happen here in Tulum with the party scene, right? You just go to one event after another, after another, after another, after another, and you're depleted, you're burnt out, you're lost. You're like, at the end of the day, it's like, what is the intentionality behind doing that? And for me, like, the intentionality is to live first and not to work first and not to party first and not to disconnect first. It's to live first. And all these other things can have a place in your life, but it's important that you're aligning all these things and that you're splitting your time with healthy activities that are fulfilling your heart and your soul and your focus. So, yeah, I really believe now in a much more holistic approach to things.
And tell me more about the retreats that you're organizing.
Yeah, the retreats are, it is where I am at my highest joy in life when I'm running these retreats. This will be my sixth Live Life Activated retreat. It's there in Imaloa Institute in right near Dominical, Costa Rica. It's a five-star retreat center with bungalows and domes and amazing vegan food and immersed in the jungle in Costa Rica. And we're doing things like breath work and ice baths and releasing our fears and overcoming our challenges in business and connecting with other entrepreneurs in nature and going on hikes and doing journaling and meditation. And so there's a variety of things that are happening within those 6 days that all fall under those four buckets: the physical bucket, the mental bucket, the emotional bucket, and the spiritual bucket. So we do a little bit of everything within those 6 days. And we do visioning and missioning, like what's our vision and mission in our personal, professional, and family life. Our vision being like, where do we want to go? And our mission being, how are we going to get there? And then all the other sessions are sessions to support our focus in those areas. So there's sessions, I bring in experts to speak about how to manage your emotions and how to elevate your level of conscious communication with your employees and with your family members and spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, things like that. So there's a lot of experts who come in and speak on a lot of these different topics that allow us to remain aligned when we're out there in the world creating.
Hmm. Yeah, do you know a guy, Jungle Jay Azeltine?
Maybe by face. It doesn't ring a
He's
bell.
he's got a nice beard. Yeah, he's also a podcast guest, the My Latin Life podcast, and he as well does retreats right down there in the Dominical area. His are more ayahuasca retreats. I don't know if that's something you're into as well. But it's funny that you guys are both in basically the same town, Dominical, kind of running retreats just by pure coincidence.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that it's not a coincidence because there are none, right? I used to believe in them, but now they're all synchronicities. Because I'm all like Tulum'd out, so it's got to be a synchronicity now. It can't be a coincidence. But no, I don't do any plant medicine in the retreat. I've done ayahuasca, and I would recommend it for anybody who's going through challenges in their life. I've done it twice, but my retreats are plant medicine free. The
Okay.
medicine is the medicine is in the people and like the breath work. I have a 9D breath work facilitator who comes
Hmm.
there and takes you on this journey where you feel high when you're done with it. And I have sound healers who bring
Hmm.
you on a sound journey, and you literally feel high after you've gone through it. So it's a lot of regulating your nervous system. A lot of these practices allow you to do that so that it prepares you better when life's ups and downs hit you, because they're always going to hit you. There's always going to be what we quote unquote deem good days and quote unquote deem bad days, right? And it's how well have you regulated your nervous system to handle these different energies that are coming into your field, that
Hmm.
and how resilient you are, that determines like how successful you'll be in life.
Okay, this is cool. I like that we have the option for psychedelic free retreat. So we're gonna do breath work. What else are we gonna do?
Ice breath work, ice baths. We do a amazing hike to one of the most powerful waterfalls you'll ever be a part of and get in the waterfall. We do a blue clay ceremony where we're covering ourselves in blue clay, and then we're releasing the clay along with.
Uh huh.
This is like a famous blue clay in Costa Rica. It really cleanses your skin. It's really good for you, but it's a symbol of what you're releasing in your life, of what you're turning the page on. And then we'll do sound journeys. Sound can really help with your nervous system and regulate your body. And those are just some of the activities. The workshops, they range from, you know, writing down what you're looking to accomplish in your life, in the different areas of your life, scoping out how you're going to get there, collaborating with other entrepreneurs who are there, so a little masterminding, talking about our emotions, the 11 different emotions that we go through, and talking about conscious communication. There's a framework that I provide everybody that has changed, shifted my life about um, how you can speak about like challenging topics, right? With your employees or with your spouse or with your parents or whoever it might be. So inviting people into conversations instead of just dumping and unloading things on people without even asking them if they're open to hearing you share about them. Like this happens all the time. So this communication can really elevate your connection with these people in your life who are important people, I would imagine, in our lives.
Hmm.
Um, and then we'll talk about prayer. We'll talk about our connection to God, source, universe, whatever it is, and how we can elevate ourselves by opening our eyes and seeing all the miracles around us and showing gratitude for everyone. And then lastly, something that's very important to me is we go volunteer at the local school with the kids down there. They literally don't see anybody from outside of Costa Rica all year round. And I bring the retreat people down there. We play soccer with them, do face painting with them, and raise some money to help them fund so that they can have computers, or they can have fans in the classroom, or they can have
Hmm.
stuff in the kitchen so that they can serve food for the kids. So volunteering is one of the most spiritual things you can do, and it's a big part of my mission.
Volunteering is one of the most spiritual things you can do.
Amen.
That's cool. I like that. So, are those the two main locations that you run the retreats? Is Tulum and Dominical, Costa Rica?
Yes, I mostly run that. I've run a retreat in Tulum, but I mostly run them in Costa Rica because this retreat facility I found is, I mean, you can't beat it anywhere on earth. They have like two Bali houses that were shipped over from Bali that are they're over 100 years old. They have domes that were brought in from Poland. These domes were made in
Wait,
Poland.
they shipped over 100-year-old house from
Correct.
Indonesia to Costa Rica.
Correct. 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 Yeah. Two of them, not one, two of them. If you
That's
go on their
impressive.
website, you can see the VIP houses. I'll drop the link so
VIP housing.
um, you can see the VIP Bali house. And it's just the most gorgeous place. It's in the jungle, overlooking the ocean, perched on top of a mountain. And you'll see a whole bunch of wildlife sloths. I love sloths. You'll see the sloth like moving around. There's like a resident sloth there. And the food is it's all vegan, which you would think, okay, all vegan, what's this going to be like? But it is delicious. It's like seriously some of the best food that I've ever.
So you go vegan for the week.
Go vegan for the week. You'll hit a level of consciousness that most people haven't experienced, if they're especially in the 3D world.
And then back to Tulum, back to the tacos.
Back to the tacos.
And why do you choose to live in Tulum? Are you kind of in a more urban part of the city, or are you like a bit in the jungle?
Well, I came here for a week during COVID, and I never left. Like I literally
Yeah,
came for a week, and I stayed for three. Somebody offered me a place, and I just said yes. So I live in a place called La Valletta. It's
yeah.
in like it's not really. It's kind of jungly. Excuse me. It's very like it's being developed like crazy. There's so much construction down here. It's growing at such a rapid pace that
Mm,
the infrastructure is having challenges keeping up. So
can imagine.
but I love it here because of the people, the community. I've built such a big community here. There's always an option to do something every single day and to connect to other humans, to connect to music, to connect to nature. The ocean is absolutely amazing. The cenotes are crystallized, and when you go in, it just purifies your whole body. So I love all of that about Tulum. There's things that aren't great, but it's just like any place. There's going to be things you love and things that you really are challenged.
And tell me this: have you given Playa del Carmen a try? Have you tried
No,
Playa?
no, no, because I'm not looking to be in a city. Like if I want to go
Mm,
be in a city, I would go back to the U.S. Right. Um, the playa is city life.
mm. Okay, that's a good answer. It's an interesting answer. So Tulum still feels smaller. I mean, it's gonna be a city. I think it's gonna be a million person city, dude. I think because they got the
I don't.
airport.
There's no way it'll be a million person city. There's
Give
no
it
way
time. I don't
because
know.
the infrastructure can't isn't this town was set up for 40,000 people.
Yeah, I
40,000 people.
know.
Now
Yeah.
they have like 2 million coming in and out. They're expecting 4 million at some point, but there's months that people just won't be here because it's just way too hot, you know? So people like it's hard to live here in August,
There's certainly a high season,
July,
but
June, July, August, even September are challenging from a heat standpoint. But right now, it's the best time of the year. Now, February, it's just
I wonder what Tulum's high season population is these days. It's probably easily 250,000. It's probably significantly more than that even.
I don't know the numbers on that, but I can tell you it's not as high as it was during COVID.
Yeah, that's fair. It kind of had its like you think it had its peak when it was the only open place in 2021, 2022.
100%. And that's when they started building construction out of control, and that's where they started taking comps from like what happened during that year and trying to use them, like and still trying to use them to price out properties and stuff. And that's why there's tons of properties that you can buy here, tons of apartments you can buy here, and they just sit. They just sit on the market.
This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you in part by Crema Social. Crema Social is like TikTok for international dating. It's an app you can download right now on your phone, and 3 out of 4 people on Crema are single women. The app was founded in Colombia, so unsurprisingly, there are a lot of Latinas on the app, by the way. So, how does it work? Crema Social is a social meal experience where you invite a hot girl for a lunch date via video call and food delivery. New concept, so you'll have to try it out for yourself, but this is probably the best way to meet Latinas before you visit the country. So if you're in Latin America or planning to visit Latin America, download Crema Social now and start getting dates right away. There will be a link in the description to download, or just search Crema Social on your favorite app store. Have fun, guys. This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you in part by BitRefill. BitRefill is the best way to spend your crypto in Latin America. Purchase gift cards or mobile refills from more than 3,500 brands in 186 countries instantly, safely, and privately. You can also apply the code MyLatinLife at checkout to get 10% back on your first purchase. Go to bitrefill.com for more information. This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you in part by Job Stacking. If you are a remote or hybrid worker looking to maximize your earning potential, then Rolf Holtze, the author of Job Stacking, guarantees you'll be able to double your income. This is the exact system Rolf has used to take his own income and those of many others beyond $20K a month. So what is job stacking? It's this idea of working multiple remote jobs. You might have heard Rolf, he's worked 5, 7, even 9 remote jobs at the same time before. And by the way, job stacking works equally well for non-technical roles. So no, it's not just for the nerds. So if you're ready to job stack, then book a discovery call with Job Stacking and see how they can double your income in just 9 weeks. In the show notes in the description, there will be a link where you can book a call directly on the Calendly of Job Stacking and be talking with them as early as tomorrow about how to double your income as quickly as possible. Really?
But there's good deals. There's good deals to be had. I was fortunate enough 3 years ago. I bought land, and it's gone up tremendously. So I thank God that my timing was right on that one, and so I'm just holding on to the land for several years to see things be built around me, and that'll raise the price even more.
So did you buy your place that you're in?
No, this place I rent.
Okay, gotcha. Because it's a whole process to buy, right? You got to have a fideicomiso, which is a trust structure, but it's doable.
Yeah, it's actually very easy. I just I opened the company and I bought land through the company.
Okay. A
So
U.S.
you
company?
can do it. No, Mexican
A
company. You can
Mexican
do it the
company.
way yeah, you can do it the way you said. There's 2 ways to do it. The first one's the way you said, through a bank. I prefer not to be involved with the banks. So I opened up my own company and I bought it through my company. So you can do it that way also.
Got it, with the Mexican company.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I
and then the
that's what
Mexican
I
company can own
owns the
the
land.
coastal
Yeah,
land. Okay,
right.
that makes sense. And then you could maybe have like a U.S. LLC own that Mexican company or something.
Exactly. That's what I do.
Hmm. I think for someone that's on the ground year round like yourself, you should be able to snap up deals on property that other people. It's hard when you fly in, fly out. They can just they can smell it on you. You know, you don't get the deals. But if you're a year round resident, that's how you can get the deals.
Yeah, yeah. And when you're buying in Mexico, you have to pay all cash. Like you can't get a mortgage down here. So it's a different, it's not like the US, 10, 20% down and carry a mortgage.
Gotta have
So you got to
cash.
have a lot of cash if you want. Yeah. And cash is king, as they say. But I'm good with just having my right now, right now.
And in your books, do you talk about investing as well?
No, my book is purely about tips, like personal development tips on how I changed my life, on how I went from an addict and entrepreneur who built a business that was running him. I wasn't running it; it was running me.
Mm.
And I was in a 6 year legal battle. Every week I was in court, and how that was like destroying my life, and how I changed my life. So anybody who's going through any trials or tribulations, this is a great book for them, and it gives really simple tips that you can incorporate into your life and shift your energy, mindset, and entire aura and being.
And what tips would you have regarding, the 6 year ordeal that you went through? What epiphanies did you have from that? Things you would have done differently, or advice you would have given to a younger self?
Don't make emotional decisions. That's my biggest one. Don't make emotional decisions. And like elevate your level of conversation, the way you're speaking. Like take some courses in conscious communication. Like it's helped me so much. Helped me so much. Communicate some of the most challenging things in my life. Be able to speak about your emotions, right? When you can speak to somebody else about how you're feeling about something, then you can connect with them on a different level. And then you show some vulnerability, you connect with the person, they care about you more. And if you lead with vulnerability and authenticity, then the other person will meet you there. But often it takes a leader to do that. It takes a leader to lead with that type of openness. And it takes practice to share some of your deep, dark secrets, right? Some things you might be carrying shame around, some things you might be still sad about. It takes courage to do that. But once you do it, man, it is so in just what's the word I'm looking for? It is elevating, freeing. It's just so freeing and elevating. And it's also inviting. And you'll have deeper relationships with all the people in your life.
I imagine this is a focus during the retreats as well. So, how do you create that kind of environment where people can open up?
I lead I lead with my story. I lead with some of my deepest, darkest secrets. And when I share, it allows others, I invite them into the space. It allows them to share.
Mm, yeah, it's powerful. And how do you set up the room or the environment?
Um, well, we drop it. We're in this. It's super interesting because there's nothing like Costa Rica if you've never been there before. It is filled with nature and filled with wildlife. So you feel held. You actually feel held. So that's like setting up the room, because we do it outside in a shala in Costa Rica.
Hmm.
The nature around us sets the stage. It sets us up to be able to be vulnerable. That's why I love doing it there.
It's true. What does it mean to feel to feel held? I think is the way you put it.
It's just you feel safe, you feel open, you feel that you can be your true, authentic self. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's criticizing you.
Hmm. And how many
That's when
people
you're
would you have in these retreats? I think Jungle Jay was telling me he does just 10 guys, and it's tens the max. How how do you what do you find works?
I have about 30 people in there, men and women.
Oh, really? Mixed group.
Yeah. Yeah. It's men and women.
Interesting.
2 years ago, I had more women than men. Last year, I had more men than women. So it just fluctuates.
30 is a lot to manage. So you're like, that's a just even logistically, that's a lot.
It is a lot. There's a great staff at Imaloa that they help me move people through things. And I usually have a friend there who's helping supporting me along, an assistant, something like that. I also have facilitators. The facilitators help. So like the breathwork facilitator, the sound healer, the different facilitators that I have.
The sound healer.
Yeah.
It's good. So you're organizing all these things. I mean, that's a massive production to organize a retreat for 30 people, especially when I imagine the majority are flying in specifically for the occasion, right?
Yeah, they fly into San Jose, Costa Rica, and then we charter them a flight from San Jose to Capos, and then we have black car service, and it picks them up from Capos and brings them to the retreat center. So it's an amazing experience that they get.
Dude, that's so cool. Um, I think we found the new hotspot, Dominical, Costa Rica. And when I look at it, it's kind of funny. It's almost like it's um, exactly at the mouth of the highway that leads to the ocean. So logistically, it's like right near the 243 highway that sort of leads to San Jose. So to
Yeah,
me,
and I usually take the team to the beach one day, and we'll do some. There'll be a mandala there,
mhm,
and we'll kind of like do a silent meditation or a walking meditation. A Joe Dispenza walking meditation or a silent meditation there. So it allows everybody to drop in and anchor in everything that they've experienced at the retreat because I do it at the end of the retreat.
we got Nauyaka Waterfall Nature Park. Not sure if you've been there.
Yeah, that's where I bring everybody. That's where we go hiking to the waterfall.
Seems to be the popular one. Seems there's a lot to do in the area. Have you
There's a
been
lot to do in the
to
area, but
Parque
we stay.
Reptilandia? Have you been to the reptile park?
I think I've been there. I've been
It looks
going for
cool. It
like
looks cool.
6 years straight.
Guys, I think this is the area to buy real estate.
It's super expensive. I wouldn't go.
I can imagine.
It's a little overpriced.
And you did go through a stage where you were looking at buying businesses, right? Because I saw, or because I see on LinkedIn that's you're talking about buying businesses in the 1 to 10 million revenue range. You shifted though to the sauna business, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm still talking to some people about that. It's still a possibility. But I'm more focused in this space around the sweat house
The
franchise
sweat house.
space.
So what do we need for to build a franchise of this sweat house? Because dude, I've talked about this so many times. Like there's not enough saunas in Latin America in almost every city. Um, so there's definitely a market for it.
Yeah, it's a good question because it's really about the regulations down here. That's the first thing you need to know. Because, like with the ice bath or with the cold plunge, there's regulations, at least in the US, about how you clean it and how many people can be in it and all health code stuff. So, but you need like a real good HVAC, right, in
Mm,
order to build it. So, you got to keep air coming in and everything. So, that's a
mm.
really important element of it. And I imagine I'm going to learn a lot more and I'll be able to answer that question a lot better in like 6 months than I can answer it right
Fair enough. Well, let me know. Maybe I'm down to open a franchise or something because it's true. Someone was just asking me about this in Mexico City. How in Mexico City, 20 million people, and they just don't even have there's like nowhere to do this stuff. There's nowhere to do a ice bath, sauna.
Yeah, you have to go to like a high-end hotel to get a
High-end
sauna, but they don't
hotels.
even have a cold. Yeah, yeah. I was just in Mexico City. I was saying the same thing. Um, it's definitely on the radar of where I'd like to be after Houston. So I'll let you know. I'll keep you in the loop.
Okay, Houston, then Mexico City. That's the expansion plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen? It's becoming definitely a thing to build your own sauna. Like you can get the sauna unit piece for $1,500 or something from like straight from Finland, straight from Sweden, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can you kind of need an electrician for a day to maybe plug it into the system. You build your own sort of like wood frame. A lot of people are building this like keg shape. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but you can build these like keg shape outdoor saunas that are pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen it. But there's a lot of maintenance involved that people don't realize once they have built it. So there's also a lot of people who just want to go somewhere, you know, and they don't want to have to worry about all that maintenance at home.
Yeah, dude, this one time, this is actually in Canada, but it was a guy, it was a business, and he had he had a sauna on a trailer, essentially. So think about like a trailer that you would haul on the back, like a detachable trailer that you'd haul on the back of a truck or something, like the type
Yeah.
of one that could almost have a horse in it, right? Like that type of trailer. So those U-Haul type boxes, and he put a sauna in it. So now it's like a mobile sauna, and he rents it out to people, and they'll bring it camping and stuff like that. And it's cool business, like a mobile sauna. I've never seen it in Mexico though. So if you want to be the guy, I'm in here. I give the idea to you first. Mobile saunas, RV saunas in Mexico.
I'll leave that up to you. You can come down here and do it. I'm sticking with what I got.
Okay.
It sounds a little complicated to me. I wouldn't want to broach it.
Okay. A little easier in a fixed location.
Yeah, much easier. Much easier. And there's still a lot of challenges with that in itself.
Seriously. Well, I mean, it's probably going to be easier than the US. You were just talking about some insane regulations in the US regarding cleaning codes and so forth. You're not
Yeah,
really
but
going to have.
when you're part of a franchise, like they are the ones who are kind of
True, true, true,
monitoring,
true.
overlooking that. So that's the support you get from the franchise.
Right. Yeah. No. If a franchise wants to set rules about what works, what doesn't work, that's perfect. I thought you mentioned like the government, maybe to maintain the license, had some rules. Maybe I misunderstood.
No. The government has regulations. It's not the government. It's the Health and Human Services. Well,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
that is the government. It is part of the government, Health and Human Services. But
Hmm.
as those regulations change, like the franchise, because this is a big franchise, it's across the whole US. So they're lobbying the lobbyists who are part of this Health and Human Services about these different regulations. So they know about them before they come out. So they make the adjustments before the laws go into effect. But it is something that you have to be aware of for sure. I hear what you're saying. You're saying like down in Mexico, you don't have to worry about any of that, but there's other things you have to.
This is true. This is true. No, I went to a
It's
good
it's
one in.
it's much easier to get these products and this stuff in U.S. than it is here.
Yeah,
You have to
for
pay,
sure.
and you have to pay all sorts of taxes and fees just on border control.
I went to a pretty good one in
Cost.
down in Paraguay. I'm not sure if you've heard about Paraguay. Probably not, but
No,
um,
I've heard of Paraguay, but I don't know anything.
yeah. But well, there's a lot of expats down there. But anyway, there's a pretty good sort of spa and sauna center, and they have this. They have a sauna that has like a pool below it, and you're literally in the sauna, and it's like connected to a pool, which is, I think, a pretty cool thing that not a lot of places have. And it was just like a whole facility and it was very cheap. I don't know if it was, $20 for the day and you get access to all this stuff. They got the vapor room, the dry sauna, all the different things. And I just realized there just weren't enough of these centers. Like it wouldn't be that much capex to set up one of these things. And Yeah, these facilities are sorely missed.
Yeah, for sure. It's important for people's mental health for them to be doing this on a weekly basis.
For sure, man. Is there any messages that you wanted to make sure and share in this episode?
Yeah, I'd love to encourage everybody, anybody who's going through any challenges in their life, in business, with addiction, any lawsuits, just like isolation. You know, it's it's a challenging time in the world, right? There's a war, there's a lot of wars going on in the world. And what I like to say is that the biggest war that's going on is the war on our attention. Everybody is trying to get our attention. And so I just want anybody who's feeling any of those things that I mentioned, that to encourage them to listen to my book on audio. On I have an audio version of it, Chasing the High, on Audible. I read it. It's 4 hours. They're relatively short, and there's really some good tips in there about how to stay connected. It's super important that we stay. You could also get it on Amazon, but Audible is the best way to go. And it's very, very important these days to stay connected with community. Community can really solve a lot of challenges that you're going through. And I encourage everybody to go out and find the community, go volunteer somewhere, connect with other people who have similar likes that you do, whether it's hiking, whether it's comedy. I mean, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. And connect with these people and, build a network of people who can support you in times of need. That's really what I'd like to share.
That's awesome,
And
man.
come to the Live Life Activated retreat. Let's go. Let's
I
go,
know.
baby.
In Costa Rica, right? When's the next one?
May 20th to 25th.
May 20th. Okay. Okay, we'll see what we can do. And today's Dia de los Reyes in Mexico. Did you get your cake yet? Did you get a rosca cake?
Yesterday I did, and I got baby Jesus. I
You,
had the
you got
first
baby
little.
Jesus?
I got him. He's right here on my altar. Like the whole cake was full, and I
Uh-huh.
cut one piece. He was right there, right in the first piece.
First piece. Good, good. So you're getting into the Mexican traditions.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Guys, you can look it up. King's Day in Mexico. And there's a special cake that they cut or that they make in Mexico, and it has these little pieces, these little plastic baby Jesuses in the cake. Uh,
Yeah.
so if you're a gringo in Mexico, you got to be doing it. You got to get into the spirit. Uh, Good, man. Good. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you got the rosca. I'm about to have the rosca. We're doing it today. So some people celebrate
Great.
yesterday, some people do it today. So we're about to do it when we get off the phone here.
Well, enjoy. Well, I don't want to keep you from that. Your baby Jesus is just one. He's just one cut away. One cut of cake away.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah, you got to inspect your pieces. Make sure you don't accidentally eat some plastic. No, cool, man. Well, thank you for joining us. It's I hope you're in our Mexico Telegram group. I'm not sure if you know this, for the audience as well. We have a free Telegram group with, I don't know, 600-700 people. The Mexico Enthusiasts group. There'll be a link in the description where people can join. And Michael, you got to get in there too. You're full time in Mexico. You could even go for citizenship soon enough. So uh,
I have my residency, so yeah, we're getting
you,
there.
you got the TR PR. You perm yet?
No, I got a 4-year, so I got to apply for that soon.
4-year temp? Yeah, we got you. We got you when you need to do your renewal and when you want to get the citizenship going eventually. Oh, there you go. You got the green. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We're not recording.
Green.
Only I can see that.
It's all right. It doesn't say where I live, so nobody's coming.
So I started on green. Now I got the peach yellow, which is the permanent.
It's great.
And by the way, for the audience, of course, get your Mexico residency. Michael here has it. Michael, I don't know if you know this, but we're a full-scale immigration firm. We have gotten dozens of people residency in Mexico, citizenship in Mexico, and in other places all around Latin America.
I did not.
So
Look at you,
yeah.
multi-talented over there.
Yeah, well, hey, tell your friends if they want to get their residency in Mexico to talk to us, and I'll send you the link for the Telegram. And next time I'm around there, I'll hit you up. Cool.
That's great.
Any last message before we get out of here?
Any last message? Just be generous with your time for people who are in need. That's my last message. Be generous with your time for people who are in need. When you are generous, it creates generosity. That's why the words are in each other, and it allows you to generate more. And whether that's good energy or money or love, whatever it is, being a generator frequency. That's what I do.
All right, let's end it with that. This has been another episode of the My Latin Life podcast. Wherever you're listening to this, maybe it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, be sure to subscribe. We put out 2 episodes a week with amazing guests like Michael, and you won't want to miss an episode. Ciao for now.